Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna.
Well, it's
Ta-
almost the new year. Can you believe
I
it?
know. And I'm feeling like it. I'm
Really?
feeling like it's almost the end of the year. Not, it's almost the new year. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I feel like the weight of the whole year is like right now, and I'm woo all over the place.
It's funny how we wait for this time because we get to see all the people and have fun, but it's so much work and then there's so much stress and planning and organizing, and it's a lot.
Yes. And can I just say, um, I have a New Year's resolution. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm
Okay.
gonna, and it's not a New Year's resolution, it's a January resolution. Is that a thing?
You'll make it a thing.
All right, I'm making it a thing. I need to give up dairy in January. So I'm doing it with you.
Oh, excellent.
You gotta hold me accountable. You gotta help me. I need you to help me.
You feel like you're having problems?
I'm my scalp. My scalp
Hmm.
is having problems. And I'm sure if you watch this on YouTube, you've noticed me like constantly like, and I think that's what it is.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I admire you. It's a tough one for
So
sure.
on top of like everything else, I'm right now like my scalp, and I feel like all I'm doing is like scratching my head, which makes me look like a crazed lunatic even more. Do you know what I mean? Like on top of your normal things that go on at this time of the year, I feel like I'm constantly like, and then people probably look at me like, what the heck? Like, really? Is it that? And it's like, no, that's just,
Honestly, I think people don't notice that much as you notice about yourself.
you're probably right.
Like we
You're,
all have these little ticks and things that we do, but nobody else really notices unless they're really watching you.
you're right. And like I told my son, I said, everybody's so watching their own selves and thinking about themselves to care about you.
True. So you should follow your own
I
advice.
should. I should. Anyway, you look
So
so
to
calm, by the way, and so
not at
cool. And I'm
all.
like, okay.
I was running around like a crazy person and I sat down here 1 minute before
Oh,
we
good. I feel
recorded.
so much better. Thank you for telling me. Even if it's a lie, thank you.
So
All
today
right.
we're going to be
Yeah.
talking about food ruts and how to
Mhm.
sort of get out of them. And I think what we're going to be talking about can really apply to any kind of rut you're in. So,
Oh, good spin. You're probably right.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I think you're probably right. By the way, I
I,
had a couple aha moments with this topic, which
oh,
kind of shocked me. Yeah,
interesting.
I know. So, are we talking about our call to actions?
Of course we are. Are you
All
trying to get
right.
out of it?
Yeah, I am actually. Mine was to track, and I tracked 50% of the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's better than zero.
you're right. You're right. I really was hoping for 100%, but it just hasn't
But
happened.
if you really think about it, as you said in the beginning, that you're so crazy right now, you have so many things to do, you're running around. I have talked to you so many times this week where you're in the car.
I
So
know.
it's not like you're sitting around doing nothing.
Mm-mm.
You're
And
really busy.
yes, and have had time to track, and I've said, do I want to do a puzzle on my iPad or track? And the puzzle has won both times.
But I think that's necessary because you
Uh,
need also like a mental
Yeah.
decompressurization. That's what I.
Yeah. But I think that it's a win because I've thought about it at least.
Mhm.
Does that even make like I consciously went, I should track my food, but I also really need a brain like just to do something
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So 50%, I mean, I technically probably got an F, but it is what it is.
I say you passed because
Okay.
if you take into all of the other factors and we grade you on the curve, you probably passed, you know?
Please grade me on a curve always. All right. Well, how about you?
I did really well. I was supposed to give up dairy and gluten, at least until the holidays and be really strict with myself. And then the holidays, I can't predict what's going to happen, but to try my best and then back on it first of the year. So, this week I did great. It
Did you
doesn't,
notice a difference with your cough?
I think it's getting better. It's going to take
Okay.
some time, but everything I watch on TikTok says, there's this cough going around and people can't get rid of their
Mhm.
coughs. And so I feel better knowing I'm not alone, but I think it definitely is connected to the dairy and the postnasal drip, and that's causing the cough. And I also I read or actually listened to something about the pineapple.
Is it
I
fake?
was no, it's real.
Oh, okay.
So the
Go ahead.
pineapple has something called, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, bromamide or something.
Okay, that is
That's what you
ringing a
said,
bell.
right? Yeah.
Something in it, yeah.
And that's supposed to help with the cough. And if you combine that with turmeric and ginger, it's
Mm.
supposed to get rid of it. And I was supposed to get the pineapple on my way home and I forgot. I'm so
Oh,
upset.
yes, get it. I really believe that it helped me that night.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I am going to try to eat pineapple whenever I can over the holidays.
Oh, yeah, and maybe when you're on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Definitely.
So,
So I think I did well. And, initially it's sort of a mindset switch of I have to do this for my health, even though I really love the taste of dairy and I love the ooey gooey cheese melting. I love all of that, but it doesn't love me.
it doesn't love you. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. And I had given it up for so long, and I just was like, "Oh, it's not bothering me." And then anyway, I'm with you.
I think this is kind of connected to where we're going today, and that once you sort of fall out of the pattern of doing something, it's so hard to get back to it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever been standing in your kitchen, looking at your pantry, looking in your fridge and saying, I don't know what to make for dinner?
Every day?
Really?
No, pretty darn close to it, yeah.
So what are you doing about that?
Right now, I'm gonna be honest, right now I'm in what is it called when you're stubborn? I'm being very stubborn right now. Because
Oh,
every Sunday I ask everybody in my family, what do they want for dinner? And they say, I don't care. And I hate that answer
I do too.
so much that right now I'm saying, kind of like in my head, I'm saying, screw you, I'm not making dinner then. There's a box of pasta, there's chicken patties in the freezer, and there's always peanut butter, and I'm just like, that's not helpful to me. Like, I wish
Yeah,
everybody in my family would realize that saying I don't care is not helpful. I want you to say, I
yeah,
would like spaghetti and garlic bread and meatballs. I would like tacos. I don't care what you're gonna say. I want
yeah.
input. I'm sick of I don't care.
A couple of times I've said that for me, the cooking is not the issue. It's the thinking about what to make every
Yes.
single day. And
Yes.
you get so tired of thinking about it and you go to your same five, six go-tos and you're making the same stuff. And then people in your house are like, oh my God, this again?
I
I'm like,
know.
yes, eat that. That's what I made.
That's exactly where I'm at.
It's
Yeah,
so frustrating.
I know. And I ask them every week, and then I go, okay, nobody's telling me, then, oh, well, we'll see what happens this week. And it's
Well,
stubbornness.
and the other part of that, I think when you're cooking for other people is you in your house, you have three other people to cook for, and
Hmm.
everybody likes something different.
Hmm.
So if you make one thing, someone's going to have a problem with it. And if you make another thing, someone's going to have a problem with that. And then
Hmm.
if you make something they all three like, you're not going to like it.
Hmm.
So it's so irritating and annoying in this
Yeah,
thinking about what to make every single day. And
for the
then if
rest of my life.
yes, for the rest of your life, you're never going to have
Yes.
a real
No,
vacation.
I hate it.
Even even when you think about going out to dinner, where we're going to go out to dinner,
I
like you
don't
have to
care.
think about that. So it's
I hate it.
just
Hmm.
ah,
It is. It's very, and I'm not saying that, well, I am saying that we are all in a food rut in my house because we really truly are. But it's even more than that. It's like I'm in charge of my own breakfast and my own lunch. Do you know what I mean? And
mhm,
I'm still doing the same thing, opening the fridge and going, oh, what am I going to eat for breakfast? Oh, what am I going to make for lunch? Like I'm doing that too. And it's
right.
hard. It's really hard.
Oh, yeah. And especially, I think on the flip side, if it's you're just thinking about you and what you want to eat, then you're like, well, I don't really want to do all this work. It's so much effort. I just don't have the energy and I'm just burned out from the day and I don't want to think about it.
Exactly.
So then you
That's
end up eating
exactly.
cereal.
For me, it's popcorn or an apple or with peanut butter because I can't keep cereal in the house. You know that about me. So yeah, it's just a bummer. But wait, let me tell you what I looked up the definition of a food rut.
Okay.
Um, and it's eating the same thing, i.e., you've lost your oomph, which I liked that definition.
Yeah.
You don't know what to cook slash eat, and you're bored with food. All
Yes.
of those, right? Do you have a different
Yes.
definition or is that pretty close?
I think that's probably really similar. Um, but the not the definition, but a point about food rut was the longer we settle for dull, the harder it is to shake loose from it, and the greater our risk of eating poorly, gaining weight, and feeling badly about not taking care of ourselves.
Wow.
So when you lose your you
Yeah.
sort of lose your all the way down the road. Like
Yeah.
if you just end up eating cereal or an apple for dinner, you're not getting a lot of the nutrition. Maybe you're still hungry for something else. Maybe your body's like, that was not enough. Can you give me something? And then
Mhm.
so you're scrounging looking for other things. And because you don't have the energy, you just end up eating garbage.
Yeah. That's interesting because energy was one on my thing too, is like, why don't we want why are we getting in this rut, right? And, the same thing was lack of energy. I also saw, lack of time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't have time, we lose our oomph too.
Absolutely.
And that's when we go, it's just easier to make cereal, you know?
Yeah.
And the other one I saw, this was my first aha. Sometimes a food rut is caused by the lack of a desire to cook because no one says thank you.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, that is probably so true.
Yeah.
I mean, who likes to do anything and if you're not getting a thank you for it?
Well, and I don't even think it's the, oh, thank you so much for making dinner. It's not that because that feels a little patronizing. It's sort of like, this was so yummy. I
Or
feel so good.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. How about this is another way to appreciate it. Look at me. This is all about me right now. Hey, I'll do dishes, mom, because you made dinner. That's like a different form of thank you
Yes, absolutely.
where I don't have
It's
to ask. Do you
your
know what I
effort
mean?
is acknowledged and it's just
Yep.
appreciating.
Hmm. So I
Yeah.
thought that was my first aha. I was like, oh, maybe that's a lot of what it is with my food rut too. It's like, one, I don't have the time. Two, I don't have the energy. And then the third one being like, I don't get a thank you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
So anyway, I also,
So,
here's another fact I got.
yes.
Food ruts are not beneficial to your health and or well-being. And this is according to psychiatrists.
Why do
The
you think they
thinking,
said that?
I, I I mean, I think a lot of it is all. I mean, I too believe it leads to an unhealthy relationship with food.
Right.
Right? What about
Right.
you? Why do you think?
Um, I think it's sort of if you lose the energy to cook or prepare or buy a healthy meal for yourself, you don't have the energy to put into, excuse me, 1 second.
Oh, go ahead. While you're coughing, I'll tell you one other thing that I had. My second aha moment was food ruts are easy to get into from the same psychiatrist group. They are easy to get into. And just, it was a simple statement. And I was like, this makes me feel normal. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I'm the only one in a food rut.
Yeah.
I
And I
talk to
think,
all these
yeah.
people and they have all these recipes. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Anyway, sorry, I cut you off.
No, I think that's absolutely right, is we get tired of thinking about it. We get tired of eating what we made. We get tired of the leftovers. We get just the whole
Hmm.
process is exhausting. So we don't get enough nutrition and we're just depleted of everything.
Hmm. And when we're depleted, we just, again, go back to the same stuff we've always known, you know?
Yeah.
And then guess what? Takes me back to I don't want to even eat. It's not exciting. It's not fun. I don't enjoy food then.
Yes, that's where you
So I'm
were
like,
a few
Oh
months
my
ago
gosh, I've been in a food rut for a million years now. You know, or whatever,
when
not really.
I was reading about this. I was like, this is where Leah was a few months ago. A few months ago, you said you were not enjoying your food, you were not enjoying eating.
Hmm.
People were all excited about that. Like, why are you not enjoying eating?
I
But I
know.
think it so relates to being in a food rut.
I think that's what it was or has been. And by the way, I'm not out of a food rut right now. I'm not. I just don't
Yeah.
I don't I'm not. I don't know when I will be. I am in a are you in a food rut or not?
I think a little bit because my husband always thinks that if he doesn't tell me to cook anything or doesn't suggest something for dinner, that he's asking me to do less work. So he's trying to be really thoughtful by saying, let's go out or let's just eat something simple or let's eat leftovers. But for me, the work is not the actual cooking. I actually really enjoy cooking. The work is the thinking about it every day, at least once in a while. Give me an idea. I don't care if it's
Yes,
complicated, just give me an idea.
I know.
What do
I
you have a
told
taste for? What do you feel like eating? What do you want? Even if it's like takes me an hour, I don't care.
I told them the same thing. I've told them the exact same thing. And this was probably last year actually. My husband said, "I thought it would be rude to print off a recipe and hand it to you." I'm like, "No, it would be
No,
glorious."
it would be so,
Glorious.
yes, it would be great. Like,
Yes.
oh, this sounded good. How about we make this?
And actually, I know I'm jumping ahead and we'll go back to some other stuff, but that is one way to break a food rut is to try a brand new recipe
Yeah.
because you're trying a new recipe that has different flavor profile than one of your typical recipes that are on rotation. And then you get excited about it and you're like, "Ooh, I could make this with this, or I could now use this leftover with quinoa." Or so it would be more beneficial than I think anybody realizes if somebody would just print you a recipe and hand it to you.
Absolutely. If someone said, I really want to try this, but could you make it? I'd be like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem at all.
Ugh. Wait, you were saying before you started coughing was this like why do you think their food ruts are not beneficial?
I should have got the pineapple. Okay. So this is something I found from Psychology Today. Falling into food patterns may cause people to develop unhealthy relationships to food and to self trust in general. So, if you don't trust yourself to make new choices, you risk becoming closed minded in other areas too. So, it's not just, oh, we're eating the same meals every week. It's a matter of how does that like spread out to other areas of your life? Are you lacking energy in your exercise? Are you lacking energy in doing all the tasks you need to do? Are you just
Hmm.
giving up and just sitting around because you're like, what's the point? I don't have the motivation and the energy and the excitement for this anymore.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought so.
wow. It's like one of those where you have to maybe look at the whole picture and say, is this then trickling down to this and then this trickling down to the and it maybe doesn't start at the food rut, but it's down there on the trickle down. Do you know what
Well,
I
and
mean?
then yes, absolutely. Um, I lost my train of thought. That's okay.
That's
We'll come
okay.
back to it.
Yeah, I just that's another see, I told
Oh,
you this topic gave me more aha moments than I thought
yeah.
it would. Go on.
What I was going to say was if you are eating the same five meals every week, right? And occasionally you go out to eat, um, you're not going to be balanced and your
Yep.
body is not going to get all the things it needs, which in turn then leads to you maybe having health issues because nutritionally you're not balanced.
Yeah. I read that too, several articles saying if
Really?
you eat the same thing every day, even if it doesn't bother you, like, because there are some people, believe it, that, I mean, that can and they don't mind, you're probably not getting all of the nutrition you need. Did I word that? Yeah, I think
Yes.
I did.
And if you this is also something I heard that if you eat the same protein all the time, you can start to develop an intolerance to it. So you need to
Really?
mix it up. It's
Really
really important to have variety in your diet.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of a bummer. I like the same. I
I know
gotta
that's
start. Yeah,
just like if you eat yogurt for breakfast every day, you're
right.
gonna eat something else, mix it up, you
Yeah.
know?
Wow. Hmm. I mean, I know that, and everybody knows. I mean, we've talked about it all the time. Like, you can't try eating something different for breakfast, but now I see the benefit in it is like to give your body different nutrients.
Yes. And also if you, okay, this is the visual I had because, I
Okay,
think in a weird way.
I love
If
the way you
you're,
think.
if you got give your body a surprise for, let's say for breakfast, because a lot of people
Okay,
eat the same breakfast. Your body's like, "Ooh, what is this? This is
yeah,
kind of exciting." It like
yeah.
wakes it up, and then you
It like
feel
amps it
different.
up. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, let's party this out, and it's like a dance party. Before it's just the wallflower at the dance. Yeah, you're eating the same
Yes.
thing. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden a good song comes on with a new food and it's like, yeah, let's do it. Right?
I love it. That's
Oh,
such a good visual.
it is, isn't it? Like I feel like, yeah, I'm a wallflower right now. I need the day. Okay, so here's something that I learned too today, a new word.
Okay.
It's called a boredom threshold.
What does that mean?
I don't actually know because then I Googled boredom threshold and I was like, oh, okay, wait, here, I'm gonna write it down read to you what I wrote. Research indicates that personality may be a factor in food ruts,
Oh.
depending on your boredom threshold. Okay, so if you have a high boredom
Oh,
threshold,
okay.
you
Hmm.
can be content eating the same thing over and over.
Hmm.
If you have a low boredom threshold, you need to have more variety. Now you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
tell me
So
yeah.
if your level is at like 50% for boredom, okay,
Meaning
you
I get
might,
bored easily?
like you're in the middle, I would say.
Okay.
You might tolerate a lot more of the repetition, but at a certain point, you're going to be like, I'm kind of tired of this repetition. Even if it's like the same song or the same workout or whatever, it's the same. You just get tired of it. If you're at like a 20%, you're going to hit that much sooner. Like, I can't do this again.
Hmm.
Some people can just repeat stuff or
Yeah.
do the same thing. I think I have a very low boredom threshold.
I think I'm more middle.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm like I might be like 60%. You're like a 20, you think?
I think
Or
I'm
you're
like
a
a
10?
20. I'm like a 20 or a 30 because some things I like in repetition. I like the predictability, but most of the time I'm like, oh God, can we not eat this again? Can we not do this again? Please, let's do something different.
Hmm.
So I'm just like hit my wall much quicker, and people are like, "Are you okay?" That's what
Well,
it is.
I think I thought that was a very interesting fact that I found out because I was like, it maybe is indicating like more about ourselves than we even thought.
Yes.
And I loved that word, boredom threshold. Like, where's my boredom threshold today?
Well, I think sometimes what the things we discover is you really have to understand who you are.
Mhm.
Because if you're okay with eating the same 10 meals in a month, maybe that works
Mhm.
for you. Maybe that's not going to work for me because my boredom threshold is much lower.
I just had a in real IRL. Is that what the kids say?
Yeah.
IRL in real life for moment when I realized that my boredom threshold and my family's is totally different.
Oh, so
My
explain to
husband
me.
can my husband can eat the same thing for 25 days in a row and then get sick of it and then move on to the next thing.
Hmm.
So when he says, I don't care, he's probably literally okay with me making burgers again and then burgers again and then burgers again, where I am like, dude, let's change it up a little bit. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. You're mismatched.
Yeah. And my kids are the same way. Like they could eat the same thing every day as well. But I do
Really?
believe kids are a lot like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of
Yeah.
kids are like that. So I don't think that's abnormal for them. So I'm thinking like that's where the frustration is lying in my family and the imbalance is because
Yes.
they literally are okay eating the same thing. And I'm
Right.
the one that's like, oh my God, I can't handle this. So if you're listening to this right now, maybe check your boredom threshold with your spouse or whoever you live with, because that could be a part of it, right?
Absolutely. And I suspect it could be different for different things. Like my boredom threshold for music is pretty high. Like I can listen to the same songs over and over again and I enjoy it. I need
Mhm,
variety, but I can listen to the same things.
mhm.
Um, but for food wise, it's very low. For
Oh,
activity, very low. I need variety. I just need it.
interesting. Yeah, and I know some people that love their activity the same every day,
Hmm.
but I wonder if their food is opposite.
Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. It's really good to investigate what you do, what you are, how you function, so
Mhm.
you know how to find a solution. Because if you're judging yourself against everybody else, that's not fair to you.
Judging myself and getting frustrated with it. Like,
Yes,
why can't you get, and it's like, because they literally don't care,
right.
you know?
Well, if you don't care, I'm not going to care. But that's
Right.
not true.
You know what else is interesting? Like, my daughter and I like to walk in the summer. Believe me, none of us, we don't walk when it's under 60 in my house. When it's, when it's like, we like to do different walks, right?
Yeah.
Because we like that. My husband wants to walk the exact same path that every single time. And we're both like, what are you doing? Let's mix it up. And that's just another part of that like boredom threshold thing. Like we're just
Yes.
mismatched. We're mismatched.
Oh my gosh. This is very interesting.
I'm having so many
Very.
enlightening moments from this. What a rabbit hole I went down. But
Yeah.
what are your tips for breaking a food rut?
Okay. So there was a few that I found. I was just reading to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So I found this article from JillWeisenberger.com, and she talked about 10 ways to end a food rut.
Ooh,
Some of these things were kind of like, oh, I don't know.
okay.
But we can adapt it to what would work for us.
Yeah.
Pretend the grocery store is a restaurant. So I think what this meant was, say you hate cooking,
Hmm.
okay? And it's just you don't want to do it, but you like to eat. Because hey, we
Hmm.
all like to eat. Pretend at the grocery store is a restaurant and pick up things that can go to the table very quickly with little
Oh,
work. So it might be something that's already halfway prepared or in the section where there's like the hot foods. You
yeah.
pick up something that's ready to go.
I like that. I don't know if your list said this, but the same around the same line was try a whole new grocery store.
Oh, but that actually gives me the like, oh my God, I don't know where the tomato
I
paste
know,
is.
but
Or
they said in the art, one thing I was reading was like, that's a good thing
yeah,
because you go down a different aisle and then you see something different and it sparks you.
I like that.
So if you can't go to a different grocery store, then do like pretend it's a restaurant, like you said. Like
Hmm.
there's both of those options there.
I like that so much. This next one, I actually saw it IRL in real life. It says create a healthy version of a Lunchable. So I had taken a hike with somebody and we had taken our lunch with us because it was a little far away. And mine was like a wrap and a piece of fruit and some other thing, like a very typical lunch thing. She
Yeah.
had basically a deconstructed charcuterie tray in her bag. And I
How
was like,
fun.
that's genius, because maybe you like a little cheese and a little cracker and then some fruit and just like I was so fascinated with that.
That's a great idea. An adult
Mm,
Lunchable.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
What
There's
was
that
your
cheese
next one?
again. There's that cheese again coming. We gotta this one is not in my budget, but maybe it was in some people's budget. Try a meal kit delivery.
Yes.
And and
Yes.
that was it would everything said like don't subscribe for months. Just try like a week of it or 2 weeks of it just to get new recipes and you don't have to think, meaning they send you the recipe and all of the ingredients and
Yes.
it might just get you into it again. And
And
there's
I think
probably going to be deals coming around in January.
they send like spices, they send most of all the ingredients. And the people I've talked to who have done their services, they enjoyed the food.
I did it once. We got a promo from the company we worked at once, and we got like 2 free weeks or something like that, and I loved it.
Wow.
Loved it. I really did. But
Because
it's
you don't
just
have to
some
think about it.
and it yeah, it was great.
One
So,
of
what else
our
did you
call to action members does this, which I loved so much. I put that as sort of one of my tips is she's trying to cook a new recipe every month. Just
I
one,
know. I and she said it's harder than you think,
it's
but
much
she
harder.
loves it.
Yeah, because you add something to your rotation.
And she said when you really narrow it down, it's just 12 different things to your rotation.
Yeah, but that's a lot of meals
It
that are different.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did you have?
This was a different one. I get again, aha moment. Go to the library. And they said that going looking through books is better than looking online.
Yeah.
And just look through cookbooks. Nobody needs to buy a cookbook anymore because we do have the internet. But at the same time, like sometimes you do want to flip through and get some ideas. And it just say go to a library, get some books out. And this one was suggested, which I've never heard of this book. Maybe you have. It's called The Flavor Bible.
Oh, I think
I don't I
sounds
don't know who
familiar.
wrote it. And I should have researched that, but I didn't. But it's a whole book on how to combine flavors.
Oh,
And I thought that was a very interesting because that's the other thing. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what would go good. Lemon.
right.
What goes good with lemon? I don't know. Like
Right.
mint. I don't know what goes like a like so it was an interesting little tidbit I found.
Um, Something that I do, which is because I like to cook so much, is if I go to a restaurant and I like what I've ordered and eaten, I try to figure out what the ingredient is, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to look at to see."
Oh my
There was,
gosh. You might that's a sign of that you really like cooking. I
I
believe
really
people that
do.
love cooking do that.
So we were at some restaurant and I was eating a taco, and I go, "What are these crunchy things? They really make it tastes so good." And oh, I told you I don't like raw onions, but this was like a fried or a crispy onion. I was like, this has changed the whole flavor profile of this dish.
Really?
And so many times that's happened where I've had like a chimichurri, which is a green sauce made of herbs and oil and stuff. And like this just changed the whole thing.
Hmm. That's a great I know people that are like, "Oh, can you taste the hint of?" And I'm like, "No, I bet you are that person."
Well, I really enjoy cooking. It's like a creative outlet for me. I just need people to
Yeah,
eat what I make.
I will come and eat. I will.
Good.
The last one I had, and I'm sure there's more, I just didn't do a deep dive, was create themes,
Yeah.
which I thought was a good idea,
What
right?
what kind of theme did they suggest?
I don't remember, but I can tell you like Mexican night, like
Hmm.
there was somebody I followed on Instagram for a long time and she did Disney themes.
Oh.
And all of her food had to do with a certain like a Disney movie, like Lion King, and it was all something like African or Little Mermaid, and it was all like seafood, and it was all like, and it was. I only followed her because I thought it was fun,
Hmm. Yeah, of
and
course.
I'm never brave enough and clever enough to come up with some of those things, but I think you could get really creative with it.
Well, I think that's sort of the point is we're missing the fun in all of this. It's
Yeah.
become work. I had a couple that I wrote down.
Okay.
I think this is related to what you just said. National cuisine roulette. So if you want to try Indian food or if you want to try Ethiopian food or any other nationality, just like try one thing and see
Mm,
how it is.
that's fun.
The one thing that I like is we have a potluck group, so everybody makes a dish and we have a theme, and it's so fun to eat different inspired ideas, and you get ideas for recipes to make yourself. So it's just so fun.
How fun, a potluck group. Do you meet
Mhm.
like once a month?
Yeah,
How fun.
yeah.
What,
It's
and you do themes.
we do themes. We had like a Christmas theme, we had a Friendsgiving, we did Valentine's Day. Like we do all the holidays, then we have um like Indo-Chinese, which is a combination of Indian and Chinese food. Like we have
Mm.
done a lot of different
I hope
varieties.
you do take pictures. I really
I
want
do.
pictures.
I take so many food pictures.
I want you to just, can you just make a whole page of just your food pictures? Because I would love it.
I can do that.
Or at least just post some more. Maybe make an album on your Health Coach Kamna page.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably put a what do you call those things on the Instagram? I'm such an old person. What do you call that thing? You know, when you have like
Wait, and you
separate.
said the Instagram. You're like,
I'm
what's
gonna
on the
create.
Instagram?
We're just having too
Sorry.
much fun today.
I know.
I'm gonna put all the pictures in a folder or whatever that is called.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would love to see it.
Um, and the other one was apps to suggest new recipes or meals. And you were talking about like following people on social media, but there's also recipe apps that'll give you a
Mhm.
suggestion, and you can put in probably your own restrictions or palate things or
Oh, there's somebody in our call to action that tried the Yumly
oh,
app.
okay. Yeah.
And she was saying that instead of like, well, there is a printout version too, but it's also a 30-second video that
Hmm.
goes through the whole thing. And she said she loved that because it was visual and there's a printout if you want. So you're right. Like there are apps and social media people to follow and all of that.
You know, and I think someone listening to this might say, oh my God, those are all great ideas, but I don't want to do any of that work. But I think the point is you have to do a little bit for your health, for your
Mhm.
mental health, for your energy in terms of
Mhm.
being motivated to do things. It's important and start small. You don't need to have big
And
things.
I'm gonna leave you with this thought is that food ruts lead to boredom,
Hmm.
lead to lack of excitement in your food, which then leads you to seek out other snacks and treats because your food didn't give you excitement. So you're like, oh,
Absolutely.
I need something exciting. But if your food gives you excitement, you don't need the snacks as much.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm still
So,
thinking about the Instagram. Sorry.
well, do you have a call to action this week?
I'm gonna do the same one. So we are off for, well, technically we're not off, but we won't report on our call to action for 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll be back on track with my dairy and my gluten and
Okay.
avoiding it completely.
Okay. I will be not starting that yet because I
Okay.
don't I why about I don't I know I should. I know I should. I'm not there. I know I need to, but it's going to be there. I actually want to come up with some new recipes for my family to so that we can all eat them. I
Okay.
need to do some looking and I mean a good couple of them.
Where do you think you'll start?
Ooh, that's I actually might start with TikTok.
Yeah, that's a good place
Like
actually.
hashtag easy dinner. I
Yeah.
like the thought of a 30-second video
Hmm.
because I can't let me tell you something. I know there's a reason for it, but I can't stand food bloggers that write 17 pages before the recipe.
Yeah.
And then you have to get to the recipe and skip through 50 ads and then it jumps around like I can't I don't have patience for it.
I made a recipe, and in the recipe itself was the measurements. And I was like, thank you. Somebody finally did this and put their like, add 1 cup of flour, add half a cup of this. I'm like, that's what I've been waiting for.
I know.
Just
It's
put it
so
in the
hard to
recipe.
find a it's so hard to find
Well,
everything
you
now.
have to keep scrolling back up
Yes!
to the
You have to go,
recipe and
"Okay,
then
wait."
scroll.
When it says add flour, like, "Well, how much flour?" You gotta go back up and look at that. You're right.
Yeah, it's not good.
Listen,
So
when you and I write a cookbook, we're gonna make sure we do all of that nonsense and make it straightforward.
I love that idea.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I hope that I can come up with some recipes. I'm actually gonna see if my son wants to help me.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he
can't
likes to do that.
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
I know, me too. So,
Wow. Have fun with that.
thank you. Well,
And happy
anything
holidays.
else? Yes, yes. Happy holidays to you. hopefully you can stay dairy free. I can't wait to hear about it. And I'll keep track of all your tips and stuff because I'm going to need help for sure.
I think once you make up your mind to do something, if I know you, your stubbornness will come in handy.
I just got to do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I will see you next year.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.